Hi everybody, Dave here again. Thanks for joining me. How to write 1,000,000 kilowatt hours of electricity. Well, I think we all want to know the answer to that. Let me explain it this way. I had a great sales teacher one time that used to tell this story, and it used to crack me up. I want to share it with you because I think there's a lot of wisdom in it. It goes like this. In the Old South, there was a man that ferried passengers across a wide stretch of a river. And one day, a boy comes up to him and says, "Sir, how many times a day do you do this?" And the man looked down at the boy and said, "Well, son, as many times as I can, because the more I go, the more I get. And if I don't go, I don't get." You know, there's a lot in that for us. Because the real truth is, the way to write 1,000,000 kilowatt hours is to do exactly what Suzanne did. Suzanne just wrote someone that brought a group in that had 1,000,000 kilowatt hours of customers to bring with them. How did she do it? Well, you know how she did it? By acting in faith. She acted in faith in the system that if you run your Craigslist ads and you work your networking and your social networking, that you continually are acting faithfully as if your outcome is already determined. You see, it works like this. Non-judgment creates a vacuum for faith. Now, what does that mean? Well, not everybody has faith naturally. You know, most people have to sort of be shown a little bit before they can really buy into something. It's not really natural for us. But you know, you have to learn from your surroundings. And one of the things that always hit home with me was that non-judgment creates that vacuum that is filled with faith. Now, what does that mean? Well, what that means is, let's take, for example, a ball player. Now, let's say this ball player is a home run hitter. You're that home run hitter, okay? Now, during the game, you went 0 for 4. But guess what? You're getting an opportunity to come up to win the game for your team with a home run. Now, when we watch the great players, do they walk up there judging themselves because they were 0 for 4? Do they walk up there judging themselves that even the best hitter only gets a hit 3 out of 10 times? Do you think that they're harsh in their judgment on themselves, or do you think they're focused on winning the game for their team? Well, I can tell you it's the latter. And that is an act of faith, because the lack of judgment to your past failures, the lack of judgment about every obstacle that comes in your way, is an act of faith. It creates a vacuum, knowing that your outcome is certain, and not taking the little problems that come along personally. You roll right with them. You roll right around them. Why? Because the next phone call could be your 1,000,000 kilowatt hour phone call. In fact, if you get someone that really buys into this business, they'll probably write a lot more than 1,000,000 kilowatt hours, certainly. But think about it. You can act in faith every single day. And the way you do it is to plug into the system, to constantly run your ads, to be focused on pay it forward, to be focused on helping anybody that comes in become successful. Plugging into the system and writing business every day. Every day. That is an act of faith. You do that by not judging yourself for your past failures, by not putting up that false goal that everybody else has set about what you can do and what you can't do. We don't judge any of that. We just know that this group this group right here today that had anything change in your life prior, that you'd have missed this, that you'd have missed out on something truly great, because we are going to do 1 million customers, 1 million people within our group in the next 2 years. You and I can both plug our faith into that and make it happen. And how do you do that? By every day doing the small things. Those small things are those acts of faith in yourself and in your dream which make it happen. Now, I want you, every time that phone rings, I want you to think about this. I want you to think, is this my 1,000,000 kilowatt hour phone call? I think if you do, you'll find that 1,000,000 kilowatt hour phone call and more. But remember, faith is an act that you do every day, and it's the small things that make the difference. So be like Suzanne, act in faith, and you too will write someone just like it. Think about it. Thank you for joining me.